is an infant. Who is an infant? Somebody that is less than 10 years, right? An infant is somebody who is less than 1 year. Okay? So their resuscitation is way different from adult or a child. When infant goes into cardiac arrest, how do we resuscitate them? Still the same routine. Make sure the scene is safe. Check for responsiveness. Call for help. Get the AED. Activate the emergency system. Check for pulse and breathing. And then you expose them, remove their clothing, and then you start chest compression. So for a child, after we make sure the scene is safe, how do we check for responsiveness? Do we tap them at the shoulder? No. For infant, we tap them at the sole of their feet. At the sole of their feet, because they are more sensitive at the sole of their feet at that time in life. They are not responding to your touching the sole of their feet or tweaking them. They are not responding. Then you can now call for help, get the necessary materials you need to get, and then you now check for pulse and breathing. For a child, where do we check for pulse? At their brachial artery. Check for pulse at the brachial artery, which is between our arm and our hand here. We check at the elbow here, where the brachial artery is. Check for brachial artery. While you are checking for pulse, you are also checking for breathing to see if the chest is rising and falling. If you don't see any of that, then we go to chest compression. How do we do chest compression for a child? For adults, we use 2 hands. For a child, we use 1 hand. For infant, we use fingers, 2 fingers, okay, to do chest compression. We still continue to count up to 1, 2, 3 to 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, we still count up to 30. And then we ventilate. And infant also have their ambu bag that you can use to ventilate. Same thing, when you want to ventilate the infant, you still tilt their head back and then cover their nose and mouth and give 2 breaths. Okay? But make sure you don't give the whole ambu bag, because the infant's lungs are very tender at this stage of their life, that if you over-ventilate them, you are bound to rupture their lungs. So you have to be very careful in ventilating an infant. Now, we said doing chest compression, for adults, you use 2 hands. For a child, use 1 hand. For an infant, you use 2 fingers. Okay, you use 2 fingers for an infant. And then, when you now have a partner, to do chest compression when you have a partner, you don't use fingers anymore, you use thumb. Wrap your hand around the infant, make sure the infant is on the hard surface, whether adult or a child, always on their back, on the hard surface, either on the floor or a CPR bed. Make sure, so that, because if you place them on a soft surface and you are compressing their heart, you will see them breaking into two. So you don't want to do that. You want to place them on the hard surface. Now, when you want to do chest compression for an infant, when you are 2 or more in number, you use your thumb. You wrap your hand around the infant like this and start doing your chest compression. Start doing your chest compression. Same thing, you want to defibrillate, you defibrillate, but there are infant parts also. These are the parts that we use for infant, neonates, newborn babies. These are the parts we use for them. Okay? So you cannot use this one for a child. You cannot use this one for an adult. It is only for infant and infant only. You can use, in case you don't have this one, you can use adult one. You still place it in the front, and then the other one you place it in the back. So this is how you still place their pads, okay, so that you can defibrillate them. The reason you cannot use this one for a child or an adult is that they will not deliver the appropriate energy that an adult or a child may desire. So that is also I said, if you want to do chest compression, you use your 2 fingers. For one person, 30 chest compression, 2 breaths. If you are more than one now, you now use your tongue, 15 compressions, and then give 2 breaths, 15 compressions, give 2 breaths. The depth for a child is 1.5 inches. For an adult, we say it's 2 inches. For infant, it's 1.5 inches, because their chest is not that deep yet. So that is how you do. And I said for if you want to check for their responsiveness, it's at the sole of their feet. You want to check for pulse, it's at the brain, it's at the brachial pulse. Okay, you want to ventilate, same thing, but make sure you don't ventilate too hard, or you don't deliver too much large amount of oxygen at the same time. So the resuscitation for adult, child, and infant, they are basically all the same. So, but just that there are some differences between them, which I have explained to you. So that is how. So that is how that's how BLS is going to be this afternoon. So if you have any question, you can quickly raise up your hand.